All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to another Rhythm Rundown with myself, Josh Applebaum, and my buddy, Cade Harper. And this is a very special edition of the Rhythm Rundown because not only do we have a huge Thursday Night Football game to talk about, Cade, I think you and I are probably on the same side here, but I'm coming to you live, boring on my part, just from my work from home studio. But my guy, Cade, is in the car going to the game. Cade's an Ohio guy. He's in Cincinnati. So, Cade, this is pretty cool, man. We got boots on the ground. You're going to give us the vibe at the stadium. Over under 5.5 beers. You're going to shotgun during the live stream, but this is pretty awesome, man. So tell me, what's your night looking like? Are you amped? I got to give you a lot of credit because it's hard to do work when you're trying to do play, like work versus play. You're doing both of them right now, man. So great to see you. And where are your seats? Give me a vibe on the ground. It looks like a pretty nice night in Cincy.
We are in the end zone. But yeah, weather's beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful fall night. It's like mid 60s, maybe 50s. I don't know. It's supposed to hit sub 60. So beautiful fall night. We're going to be in one of the south end zone or whatever, I think. I don't know. Not my first primetime game in Paycor. So super excited. Atmosphere is going to be nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome, man. It's awesome that you're there too. So I might have to one up you at one point. I'll have to go to Foxborough and
There you go. Yeah.
Game. So, I can repay the favor here, but yeah, Cade, we got a lot to get to. Of course, you always like to start with, let people file into the feed and give you guys some notes and some updates and recaps from last week. Always want to start by mentioning, if you haven't done it yet, download Rithmm. It takes you 2 seconds. Give it a 5-star review. You can use the promo code START25 for 25% off. We do have our Refer a Friend program. So, Cade, you better be handing out the Refer a Friend link with everybody tailgating at the game here. But also, we have our leaderboard contest. We have our Discord channel. I'm going to share my screen here so you guys can kind of check out all these easy ways to access all this information. But if you go from the homepage, these leaderboard contests are pretty awesome, and you can win up to $1,000 if you have the best model. And then you can also enter not only college and NFL, but get your Refer a Friend here. You both get a discount. And then down below, join the Discord. So the Discord is pretty cool where you can basically just bounce ideas off of other bettors, talk about your Rithmm models. So all those features are available to you when you download the Rithmm app. Looking at tonight, Cade, we got to talk, obviously, where you're going to the game, Bengals and Steelers. I wanted to hit on a couple other games. I had sent you a few of them, but the game coming up in London really intrigued me, the Jaguars game. And then if you also look at a few others here that kind of caught my eye, I'll be looking at Rams, Jags, Panthers, Jets, Colts, and Chargers. And then to finish up this stream, you and I were kind of texting about this earlier, but there's one game in college football where if you look up Closing Line Value Hall of Fame, I'm pretty sure you're going to get that award for this one here. So I'm not getting quite the number that you were able to get, but I think we're going to kind of lean in the same direction, buying low on a team that's got a lot of issues, a lot of dysfunction. But we'll kind of save that for the end. But man, Cade, we buried the lead because we had an epic week last week on the stream. I'll just throw a few at you. Panthers, we had a Rithmm Green Star recommended play Panthers around plus 2.6. They were getting 3 or 3.5. They won outright against the Cowboys. The Falcons on Monday night, Rithmm had them around a 4-point dog. They were getting 4.5. Public was on Buffalo. Line fell toward Falcons. That came through. The Chiefs money line was an all-timer because so many people were saying, hey, the wrong team is favored. You got to take the Lions, but that line moved toward the Chiefs and money lining the Chiefs. I think they're minus 1.5. They're a pretty low number. Got up to around 2.5. But we had Rithmm predicting a minus 1.9. So that came through. And then Missouri and Bama, Missouri plus 3.5. They were able to cover. And actually, Rithmm had that closer to a 1-point game. So, Cade, any thoughts from last week before we talk about this one? Any, teachable moments or, ways that you use Rithmm to cash? But man, Panthers, Chiefs, Falcons, Mizzou, some good winners there that we talked about last week.
Absolutely. I mean, last week, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a full card sweep, except my dumb self decided to still roll with the Chargers, even though I had the best number. We lost that bet. I had to ruin it. But other than that, nonetheless, great weekend, profitable yet again. Yeah, we're rolling right now. So,
yeah, it's great to see. So, gonna again let everyone kind of file in. Cade, I always got to retweet. Make sure we get some people
right.
jumping in the stream here. So, let's talk about this one here for tonight. So, obviously, what we're trying to do, at least from my perspective, and I think a really cool part of the show is that Cade and I are going to take slightly different approaches, but when we kind of land in the same middle, coming from different angles, to me, that's when I get really excited because Cade, you're a true wise guy. You're setting your own numbers. You're looking for discrepancy plays. I'm looking at what the market is telling me. And then we're taking those two different philosophies, melding them together, and then leaning on what Rithmm is also recommending. So to me, Rithmm is kind of like that tiebreaker or that cherry on top, where if you have a model that's telling you have an edge, or I'm looking at a sharp market-based move or situation, then Rithmm comes in from the top rope and says, hey, we agree. You're also getting an edge based on our Rithmm model. That's really the way to approach it, or at least from my perspective. So looking at this one here tonight, Cade, this was interesting to me because the early move was definitely toward the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Steelers opened this one. They were pretty much -4 across the board. We saw the Steelers get bet up all the way to -5.5. Some shops even hit 6. I think one book, maybe for a brief second, might have touched 6.5. But what was notable to me is that it didn't keep going toward the Steelers. There was a point of resistance. Those 6.5, 6s immediately got scooped up, brought it back down to 5.5. So that to me was a signal that, okay, 5.5 was too big of a number, or the 6-ish. Bringing it back down, telling us smart money was kind of buying low on Cincinnati. And Cade, this is kind of beautiful here. We're starting to see some books get down to 5, even 4.5 across the market. So this line is continuing to come back toward the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it's important too, not like falling in love with a play based on an early move. Like sometimes you can get out ahead of it, beat the closing line and feel good about it. But sometimes you want to wait a little bit and just kind of see which direction it may go back, because you never know if it's going to keep rising or if it's going to kind of hit a number and come back the other way. Long story short, I'm taking the points here. It's not just because you and your boy are driving to the game and you're going to give us some good juju tonight, but to me, this is kind of just a classic divisional dog, primetime dog, Rithmm system match play. Because if we look at the spread bets right now, it's not a percent of spread bets on Cincy, which technically is contrarian, but I wish they were getting like 28%. But if you look at circa 49% of tickets, 70% of the money is coming in on the Bengals. Primetime dogs have been really good for us. They're 13-6 ATS this year, 68%. If a primetime dog is getting 5 or more, they improved to 73-52 ATS, 58% since 2020. Dogs off a loss, playing an opponent off a win, they're 58% against the spread this year. And Mike Tomlin, Kate, I know you always like this system as I do. We love Tomlin as a dog. He motivates his guys. He covers a ton of numbers when he's getting points. It's kind of the opposite. When he's a favorite, he'll win a lot of these games, but he doesn't always cover. As a dog, he's covering 65% of the time. As a favorite, he's only covering 48% of the time. And if he's favored by 5 points or more, he's only covering 46% of the time. So again, the market's telling me we got sharp buyback coming back toward the Bengals here. I love that last couple hours before kickoff, it's starting to move further back toward the Bengals. And then, of course, looking at what Rithmm is predicting for us, we'll go to our NFL models. I always got to kind of get this a little smaller so I can scroll down, but go to all games. And look at this. This is beautiful. Things could not be lining up better for us. This actually makes me nervous. I'm so excited that it's all working out, but sometimes things look too good to be true. But check this out, Cade. Both system matches on the Bengals, both green star plays, both recommending that you take the 5.5. And not only is the first model a green star recommended play, but it is a smart signal. And again, we've tried to highlight these smart signals on the Rithmm rundown. They're basically the best of the best. There aren't a ton of them, but when they pop, that tells you all the back end stats and algorithms that Rithmm leans on are all very, very strong in one position. So they're on the Bengals. We are predicting at Rithmm Bengals plus 4.4. You also look at another recommendation here, Bengals plus 4.5. So again, the early move was toward Pittsburgh. Line's coming back to the Bengals. Classic spot here, contrarian, divisional primetime dog. And I got two beautiful recommended star plays here on the Bengals. So, Cade, number one, who's on the back of your jersey? Is it Joe Burrow? Number two, tell me you're going with the Bengals and give me your breakdown of this game.
So, in this one, I had to go buy a jersey. I didn't have anything because I'm not a registered Bengal fan. But for the one night out of the year where we just hate the state of Pennsylvania, I'm rolling with Jamar tonight. That's it.
There we go.
Had to get one. Had to get one early. No, but this cap is pretty simple for me, honestly. If there was a thing in the NFL called a corpse watch, like the Bengals are absolutely it, because this season, I mean, they've played arguably the toughest schedule in the league. These last 4 games, all without their QB1. And obviously, that's not easy. Like, it's never going to be easy. And Browning takes over, does not last long. Flacco takes over with less than a week to prepare, and he gives the Packers a dogfight. Like, he comes out here, looks like he's belong. And, I mean, the dude's like, what, is he 40? He's done this before, everywhere. So, he's definitely prepared for it. And, yeah, I mean, given the more time to prepare for divisional rival that he's actually familiar with, not to mention how down I am on the Steelers team right now, because, like, they've been outgained or dominated in just every single box score this season, other than like 2, maybe, if that. You have Cleveland last week, who's coming back from London with a rookie quarterback getting his second career start, and it's just a perfect situational spot for the Steelers there. It doesn't even compare. Road data wise, they're outgained in almost every single game. Like I was saying, even the New England game, perfect example. Should have probably have lost that game if it's not for the turnovers, honestly. Difference in the same situation versus the Jets. Crazy luck rating all the way around. The thing that is like green lighting for me is not only Rithmm, especially with the smart signal. Tomlin has a favorite against the spread that's over a field goal off of a road win. He is 5-20 against the spread. 5-20. So I love to fade him in this spot, not to mention in Thursday night games alone, he's 2-8 straight up on a win-loss record in his career, and then that's 0-8 versus divisional games. So you can absolutely not get a better spot than this tonight. Simply put, I'm taking the plus 5.5, taking the Bengals outright solely for the purpose of me being there. Not a fan, but for the one night, once I hear Guns N' Roses at kickoff, it's go time. So I'm rolling with it.
No, and that was a great stat there. You're 5-20 ATS. I gave you the generic, fade Tomlin as a favorite. You again added on to that and gave us that great number of, what was it, off a win, kind of like a sell high spot as a favorite. Yeah. So the other angle to me is just buy low, sell high. This is you hear it all the time. You hear it in economics. You hear it just kind of in general when you talk about value. Anytime something good is happening, it's not guaranteed it's going to stay positive. Usually you're going to regress to the mean. On the flip side, anytime something bad is happening or you're playing poorly, typically you want to buy low, especially in a spread sport where we don't really care who wins this game. We're just looking at, again, covering this 5.5. And just look at these, last 4 games. You mentioned the Steelers game against the Patriots. Patriots did everything to give that game away. They outgained them by, I remember watching that game. They had 1,000,000 yards. They kept turning it over. And again, to me, that was like a gift victory. But you look at the Steelers, they've won 3 straight. Bengals have lost 4 in a row. So just from the standpoint of one team doing great, looking up, the other team struggling, going down, the vast majority of the betting public's going to look at that and say, oh, give me Steelers all day. They're playing better. I think if you have bet long enough and you kind of see the value of buying low and selling high, you actually would look at it the other way and say, hey, this is a great time to fade the Steelers. This is a great time to buy low on the Bengals. And I think just generically, Cade, ever since Joe Burrow got hurt, you win your first game, you're 2-0 with Browning, and you're like, oh, maybe they'll stay afloat. Browning absolutely tanks there. You bring in Flacco. Ever since Burrow got hurt, I just feel like there's a big Bengals are done, like no reason to play them. Whereas, Rodgers is still, playing decent, and you have the Tomlin effect and DK Metcalf, like the public bias in favor of the Pittsburgh Steelers is what we want to go against and kind of buy low on this spot in favor of the Bengals. So as always, kind of the last angle here is, find the best number. I love the fact that some of these books are getting down a little bit lower. Like I did see ESPN bet, I think is at 4.5. But right now, BetMGM, again, pretty much every book is -110, -115. You can get a -105 here. So always try to lay as little juice as you can, especially when you're betting to risk first betting to win. You're going to get more on the back end. So you and I both on +5.5. And Cade, tell the people your Twitter handle because you better be tweeting up a storm in the stands here and at the tailgate.
I'm going to be giving out the updates before the updates happen, so you actually might not want to, because I'm either going to be really pissed or I'm going to be hyped up out of my shoes. But yeah, anyways, CAD at CAD_locks, LOXX at Twitter. So yeah, follow me there. Either live updates, I'll either be crying or I'm going to be a little bit funny. I might not know what I'm tweeting, but we'll make it happen.
Well, I'll be right there with you, Cade. And I know a lot of Rithmm people will be sweating it with you because, again, we got this smart signal lighting up on the Bengals here. So +5.5, win the game. That'd be awesome. lose by 5 or less. That's all we're looking for. I want to get your thoughts on the total here because I really didn't have much. I didn't really have a play on the total. What jumped out to me though, Cade, is that it definitely went up off the opener. Like some books open as low as 42 and a half, 43 ish, 43 and a half. Now you're up to 44 and a half, 45, 45 and a half. So it's definitely gone up. And that kind of is a little bit perplexing to me because typically you and I love these primetime unders. You get a huge island game, one off. Public's going to go favorite and over, creates a great opportunity to go the other way and go dog and under. Now, if you look at kind of how that's fared this year, it hasn't been great with the primetime unders. Like historically, these primetime unders are close to like 60%. You're a little bit underwater right now with the primetime unders. I think you're one game below 500. Do you have a model here on the total? Because what Rithmm is predicting for us is maybe selling high on this line move. Again, it rose up. Maybe you can high watermark it. Maybe you can find the 45 and a half. But I have two models, both on the under, and one is a sharp recommended play with a prediction of 43.4 points. And again, divisional games, you kind of know each other. You know how to match up. That's really why you kind of like these outdoor divisional unders, which you and I both always look toward. So what do you have capped for this total here, Cade? Any thoughts on the total in general? Again, I don't like going against a line move, which would be the over, but I would be intrigued by maybe selling high and going the other way and taking the under.
For me, in this kind of situation, I didn't have a cap or any play on the total either. And it's going to be really funny because as a person who's going to a game, you want to see fireworks, right? You don't want to see these defensive games. You have all these star players. You have Jamar Chase. You have T. Higgins. You have DK Metcalf. You have all these stars on the offensive side on both sides. But the thing is, I mean, like you said, these outdoor divisional unders, they just seem to find a way to go under every single time. And it makes a perfect situational spot knowing both quarterbacks. I'm not really impressed by either or. Yes, the Bengals defense has been kind of shaky thus far, but Tomlin's not necessarily exactly your aired out kind of guy. He's your ground and pound run game with Kenny G and Jalen Warren, and then eventually through that classic out route to your tight ends here and there, and just keep the ball moving. That's Mike Tomlin's game. And then eventually, if it opens up, hit DK if he's there. But in this kind of stance, I might look for a live play depending on how it's going or how it's trending. A lot of the times, if teams kind of go out there and get a quick score, maybe like first or second drive here and there, that total likes to kind of jump up a little bit because at the time it's projecting to be higher than what it actually is. I might look into it depending on what the number is. I'm not expecting anything to touch crazy high, like maybe low 50, even under 50. That might be my goal, is to somewhere below 52, because I don't really think it's that high, to be honest with you. But that would probably be my best angle for that kind of play. I don't have anything lined up for it, but if I did, that's probably what I would do or lean towards.
Yeah, great point by you. And again, this is a way you can attack a game where either you have a position prior to the kickoff, what we call the quote unquote pre-flop bet, or you look at a live line. So what I'm always looking for, and the perfect example was the Bills and the Falcons. Now, we mentioned earlier, you and I were liking the Falcons and the points. They came through. That was a blueprint play. Public Buffalo, line was dropping toward Atlanta. Atlanta had the bye, coming off the bye, rest advantage. So that was all great. But a great example with live lining, I'm so glad you hit on this. When you get scoring early, that live line is going to jump up a ton. And if you are savvy enough to be watching the game and then have your iPad or your computer on a live odds page, or maybe you're logging into your sports betting app and just monitoring what that new live total is, there's great opportunities to just get a way better number by selling, buying low, selling high on the early scoring. So for example, that Bills Atlanta Falcons game, it was basically, I think, 28 points at halftime, and they ended up scoring 10 points the rest of the way. So it was a 24-14 game. When that was 14-7 in the first quarter, I don't have it on me, but I think the total was around 50, 52, 53, something like that. What I look for, Cade, is at least a 10-point difference between the pregame total and then the current live line. So as you mentioned, the total in this game is 45-ish, around there. If we get to a point early, first quarter, second quarter, when the live line is 55 or higher, that to me is the time to jump into the water and maybe kind of take advantage of that live line. And then also just the ways, typically these football games are in the pros, you're probably not going to get lit up the entire game. If you're any good as a coach, you're going to make adjustments. You're going to, oh, we're getting beat over the top. Oh, 2 safeties. We're going to bring it back in. Like, these games typically settle down and somewhat fall close to what the pre-flop odds are. So great point by you. You get heavy scoring early, maybe you live line and go under there. Cade, any thoughts on player props tonight? Anyone jump out to you? I know you're wearing Jamar Chase. Any love for any Bengals guys here? I'm just going to pull up this game, but let's see if we got any smart signals for this one. So one would be Rodgers over 223.5. Recommended green star. He's predicted 262. I mean, that's pretty decent there. I hate going, quarterbacks over because that's usually a big public play in a primetime game, but that kind of caught my eye. The one here is, you mentioned it, Kenneth Gainwell, under 26.5. Cade, he's predicted for 16.8. That's a smart signal play. Any thoughts on Gainwell here going under?
Yeah, I like the idea. I think they have the right idea with it. To me, Jaylen Warren has been the guy thus far. As far as I know, I think he was injured, maybe questionable for a little bit. He was ruled active as of recently, I think within the last couple of days or so. I did like, this is good because I actually kind of leaned more Jaylen Warren props. I didn't have it, but I seen a lot of people kind of onto his like over rushing receiving line and then kind of fading Kenny G in that kind of sense. Yeah, I like that chance. I don't hate it for what the number's at. And then again, yeah, these smart signals, red hot. Like they've been, I think the only one was AJ Brown, I think last week, which, like you said, all these smart signals, they're not going to hit you guys. Let's not, they're not going to be the gold mine that we think, but incredibly high hit rate as of this season. And yeah, I expect it to keep rolling.
Yeah. And just, looking at some of these recommendations, what I like to do is, again, I'm focusing more on the game line, game spread, conventional spread, money line total. But what I like to do is just click each kind of category and just quickly see. I don't even look at the names, to be honest with you. I just look at,
right, yeah.
Okay, is it in red or is it in green? I just start there. So when you look at some of these receiving yards, I mean, Rhythm's got a lot of options for you tonight. Pat Freiermuth, over 14.5. I mean, that feels pretty low. He could catch a 15-yard pass and go over that one. Rhythm's predicting 33.7. So Freiermuth is on the table. Scotty Miller, over 12.5. He's predicted for 27.2. Now, again, he hasn't produced a ton for you, so that might be a hard one to sweat. But then also Roman Wilson, over 8.5. Again, 9-yard pass, you catch that one. I'm not saying that I'm betting these. That's interesting to me with DK Metcalf too, as a almost like Cade. We've had what was it, the Jackson Smith and Jigba. I know we lost on Nakua on one of them and lost the other. It was catches or yards. But yeah, we do like the number one target, primetime game. Public is hammering the over, go under. And this would be a DK Metcalf fade under 68.5. So again, you got some options here. I tell you what though, Cade, when I feel good about a play like I do with the plus 5.5 Bengals, I'd hate to win the 5.5 Bengals and bet 5 player props and I go 1-4. And then I'm pissed I went 2-4 on the night. So again, this is up to you and your style and your risk level. But definitely Rhythm's got a lot of matches here lighting up for this game. Let's keep on cruising because I got a bunch more football games I want to hit on with you. And again, I can't believe, man, you are a hard worker. You're in the car doing a live stream. So I give you a lot of credit, man. That takes a lot of dedication here. But I want to get your take on the Jaguars game. Jaguars are playing the early game on Sunday in England at, I think, is it Wembley or Tottenham Hotspur? We eat one of those. But we did see some movement toward the Jags. I actually took the points with the Jaguars, Cade. I was a little worried because I couldn't get the 3.5. I was really hoping for it. Really, no book was popping. But the Rams open as high as -3.5. Public's on the Rams. Lines falling to the Jags. Jags are now down to pretty much 3 across the board. And you are seeing some shops that are a little juiced up. Probably not. I mean, it may be, but it's juiced a little bit toward maybe even falling further down to 2.5. This would kind of be a buy low play for me because the Jaguars are coming off a loss. You look on the other side with the Rams coming off a win and covering against the Ravens, pretty much blowing them out there. Puka Nacua is a big question mark. He got hurt the last game. He may or may not play, but I got a lot of systems here on the Jags. They're only getting 60% of bets, 87% of dollars at DK. They would be a dog off a loss playing an opponent off a win, 58% ATS this year. And if you're a dog off a loss, opponent off a win, getting 3 or more, you're 65% against the spread. Then you look at these recommended plays. I mean, they're not huge. They're not green stars, but they're both on the Jags. One is Jags plus 2.5, and one is Jags plus 2. So if I can be kind of with that line move, sell high on the Rams after a blowout win against the Cooper Rush, not the Lamar Jackson Ravens, buy low on the Jags, and I have a recommendation where Rithmm is providing me an edge. Again, I wish I got the 3.5. I missed it. I did put in Jags plus 3. Kate, any thoughts on this one? I know these, London games are a little different, a little more variables at play. But can the Jags keep it close, lose by 3 or less?
I think I think it's going to be tough to take them outright, but the number itself is just too appealing in my opinion, especially if the Rams are actually truly going to be without Puka. I did get the +3. I didn't actually buy the hook, unfortunately. I was honestly expecting this to drop even further before I lost out on the even 3. But their brutal travel schedule aside, given how well the Jags have been playing against the spread this year so far, and given like these kind of novelty games to kind of feature these kind of less scoring ish, not to mention Jags defense, they lead it in like almost every turnover category from like takeaways to interceptions. I mean, their defense has played unbelievable thus far. I lean the under. I like Jacksonville with the points. I want to take them outright if Puka is actually truly out. I'd be gambling on Matt Stafford to basically cough this ball up at least once without his main guy. And honestly, I think that's a pretty easy ask, depending on how much this team actually throws the football. I think that we're asking for a turnover or even 2 is not that big of an ask for this defense, the way that they're playing right now.
Yeah, and great point by you highlighting the total because we saw it fall. I mean, probably I would assume that's Puka Nacua, no Nacua. Obviously, offensively, that's going to hurt you. So this total opened at, I want to say 46.5. You're down to 44.5. And we do have a recommended green star play on under 44.5. Rhythm's predicting 43.9 points. So that's something definitely to keep an eye on. But yeah, I'm kind of with you. I did notice, I think it was Fanatics giving you a +3.5. I think it was really juiced. Yeah, -125. But again, sometimes you got to take a chance. Like, I would love to know concrete, set in stone, no Puka Nacua. So that would make me, again, more inclined to, really get down on the Jags. If he plays, does it get up to 3.5 and you miss the hook? That's kind of a chance you got to take here. But I like the spot. And anytime Rithmm tells me, again, the spread should be about 2.5 or 2 and you can get a 3, that's an edge right there. So I'm going with the Jags in this one, plus the points. Next one that I wanted to hit on with you is, where's it at? The Chargers game. Chargers is really, really interesting to me, Cade, because this reminds me a lot of what we just went through with the Lions and the Chiefs, where the public thinks the wrong team is favored, but the line is kind of quietly going the other way. So if you look at just kind of what we've seen across the board for this one, the Indianapolis Colts have been great, 5-1, one of the best surprises in the league. You're getting upwards of 70% of tickets taking Daniel Jones in the points, but a lot of these books open Chargers -1, Chargers pick them, very low number. Now they're up to -1.5. I see a -2 out there. Basically, the line's moving and being juiced up toward the Chargers, even though the public is going pretty heavy here on the Indianapolis Colts. So that tells me you got an opportunity to, again, fade a trendy dog, back that home favorite. I money line the Chargers. They're not a very bad money line price at all. They're like -125, -130. But I do have a system as well. When both teams are coming off a win, take the favorite. It's very, very simple, but it's 72%, 8% ROI since 2022. It's 98 and 38 straight up. So I love this spot. Public is all over a dog. Line moves further toward the favorite. Now, Chargers are a kind of a caution flag play, but -1 with Rithmm and -1.4. So again, you're on the money line. You only got to win by 1. To me, even though it's not a green star recommended, I want to go Chargers in this one. I think it's a good spot to just fade the Colts And remember, I took the points of the Colts. You and I did a stream. Tutu Atwell had that touchdown to kill the Colts 3.5 at the Rams. Maybe there's something about going to Hollywood here, and maybe just a weird spot in that stadium. Hopefully that'll benefit us. But I'm money lining the Chargers here, Cade. Any thoughts on Chargers money line spread, or do you maybe like the Colts and the points here?
I'm with you again. I got the Chargers priced at -126, and after a pair of ugly losses, I think Giants and Commanders, they almost got beat for a third consecutive time. And despite some of the recent struggles that they've had, along with they've had a lot of bad injury luck that they've kind of been forced to deal with, honestly. But the Colts are all of a sudden tied for the best record in the NFL. And it's like, oh my God, like this team like looks legit. But here's the thing: there's a few factors in this for that record reasoning, and for starters, they're 4-0 at home for the Colts. Their only loss is on the road, and the Colts' wins are all against teams with a losing record. I'm not really sold completely on them just yet because their defense has been playing really good. It is the NFL after all, and anything can truly happen. But I mean, after the fact, Kansas City looks really, really good versus Denver and Kansas City, and obviously that latter victory looks a lot better now, especially after the Chiefs played against the Lions. Even with a pair of victories, I mean, we're not necessarily saying that the Chargers are an elite team. I don't think that they're there yet. But simply put, yeah, I mean, I think the Colts here are just mainly due for some regression in this sense, playing a good team with a pulse for once, and combine that and the home field advantage. This is a perfect example about why they're favored. But I'll take the short price while I have it. I'm trusting Herbert and his offense with this one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And if you look at the splits at Circa right now out in Vegas, caters to sharp bettors. Only 38% of spread bets, but 91% of spread dollars are coming on the Chargers. And Chargers are just kind of like a buy low, sell high play as well, because the Colts, again, 5-1 looking great. Chargers barely beat the Dolphins. They actually maybe should have lost that game. You can argue about that, but they had to come back and hit a walk-off field goal, didn't cover the number. So people who had played them in Miami, -3.5, you win by 2, you lose that bet. I think they're going to be less inclined, or maybe kind of like, almost like a hate fade because you cost me money last week, bias against the Chargers. And I also think it's important too, like when you're looking at these Rithmm recommendations, always look at the money lines as well. I know we're programmed to, look at the spreads, and I mentioned it earlier, but I like that they're both on the Chargers, but they're both caution flags. But you go to the money line. This is why you and I really like the money line. We have 2 models on the Chargers, and this is the big one here. The sharp signal, smart signal play, Chargers money line -128. You look in this spot historically, it's got a win rate of 67% and predicting, about a, 2-ish win margin here. So anytime you can get that green star, and to me, the big thing is just fading the public in this one, because again, when you bet the NFL, every week you're going to see a game that reminds you of a previous game. And again, not that every one anecdotal play is going to, be guaranteed to do the same thing. But if you bet NFL long enough, you're going to say, oh, I saw this spot a week ago, or, oh, a couple weeks ago, I remember this angle. So again, this Chargers play is very similar to where the Chiefs were last week against the Lions. Public love Lions, public loves Colts. Lions moving toward that unpopular home favorite. So I like the Chargers in this spot for sure. The other one that I wanted to hit on with you, Cade, let me see what the last one was. Pull it up here. Let's see. Panthers and the Jets. Now, man, it's getting bad in New York. This is another awful. I really feel for the Jets fans, man. It's pretty bad. But I'm gonna fade them again. I know maybe it's an opportunity to kind of buy low on the Jets. They're at home. They're getting about 1.5, but I'm looking toward the Panthers in this one. Now, the big angle to me is the dog to fave line move, because if you look at the opener here, Jets at some shops opened -2.5. They were favored here. And again, typically it's not always 3 points anymore. Post COVID, you're looking at around 1.5 to 2.5 points for home field. But again, if you're opening -2.5 at home, it's kind of saying on a neutral site these teams are even. We've seen this line flip completely to the Carolina Panthers. Panthers have gone from getting 2.5 to now laying -1.5. They would be a non-conference favorite system play here, so lack of familiarity benefiting typically the better team. Justin Fields, we all know, what did he end with? Like -10 passing yards if you add in all the sacks from last week. So
Right.
Jets feel like a dumpster fire as they always do. In Carolina, they're 3-3. They've won a few games in a row. Bryce Young looks pretty decent. Tet McMillan looks like a hit. I think it's a good play here to back Carolina with that dog to fave line move. And Rithmm is kind of with us. We have a -1 prediction with the Panthers, a -1.9 prediction, but we go to the money line. This is what we like. Just like we had that smart signal on the Chargers, smart signal here with the Panthers. Again, smart signals are looking at situational angles. If you can meet these very specific criteria in this spot historically, you're winning about 2/3 of the time. So I'm going Panthers money line. Again, shop around. You can find, I think you got Carolina -125, something like that. But what do you think about the Jets overall, Cade? And do you like this this Panthers play to hopefully win the game straight up?
Yeah, I. This is bad because the thing I seen a stat on Twitter. Panthers were like 0-10 or something like that straight up the last time they were favored. I don't know what it was. It was something ridiculous, and I was just like, "Oh dear God, here we go." They're the last winless team in the NFL, though. I solely backed this team last week, thinking that they were going to get it done against Denver, honestly. And again, yeah, it's just terrible. I'm a Bet Labs guy. I'm on there. Winless teams have only been favored 5 times in Week 7 or later since 2013. This was at the time that they were favored. So, I'm on the Panthers here at the +3. But yeah, I mean, if you assume that this one flips like it has, Panthers are short favorites by the end of the week, and then you have to win those underdogs of a field goal or less in Week 7 or later than that. 4-9 straight up in the last 13 instances. So I like that fact. I'll take my chances. I'll take the points.
Yeah, and you look at, the other angle to me is sometimes I kind of like to fade teams after they come, cross country from an overseas trip. Obviously, they were overseas for their last game. They were the early game, the 9:30. Now they're coming home. You can kind of feel like if they get down or Fields, fumbles, the crowd turning on them a little bit. They're 0-4 at home. They've got no home field advantage. And also look at just offensively. Carolina's been putting up some points here recently. So can Justin Fields, score enough to win this game? I mean, look at Panthers. They've put 30 on Dallas. They put 27 on Miami. They beat Atlanta 30-0. That was kind of an outlier a few weeks ago. But the Jets, 11 points, 22-21, 10 points against Buffalo. I mean, I don't know if you want to overthink it too much, but from an offensive standpoint, I feel like I can count more on Carolina at least giving me 20 points. Jets, on the other hand, I don't know how much you can really rely on them. But again, I try not to look too much into like the head-to-head stats because the odds makers are setting and moving these numbers based on their power ratings. And again, all that is baked into the cake. So to me, the fact that, again, you flip dog to fave, Carolina was a dog, they flipped to a favorite. Again, if the Jets beat, this is one of those plays, Cade, where it's like, if you beat me, Jets, I'll tip my cap. That's all I can do. But I would hate to play the Jets saying, "Oh, I'm a value dog here," getting a 1.5 at home, and then they lose, and you're like, "Why did I play the Jets?" So I am totally fine with a Green Star recommended smart signal with a dog to fave line move. So I'm on the Panthers money line in this one. Now to finish up the stream, Cade, and again, you got to go shotgun beers and get. What do you guys eat in Ohio? Do you do like hot dogs, hamburgers? Like what you do? What you have the Skyline chili I've heard about? What's at a tailgate at a Bengals game?
First of all, have you had Skyline?
I've never had it. I've only seen it on Twitter. Is it good or terrible?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I mean, to us, it's like heaven in your mouth, right? It's like there's nothing better at all. Period. Point blank. Otherwise, yeah, it's a good old classic cheese coney with chili and cheese. I'm usually over under. I'm setting my line tonight. Maybe 4.5 conies for the hefty price of probably $40 for a hot dog with chili and cheese. I'll take that. Unfortunately, but yeah.
Wait, coney? Is That's what you
It's
call
what they're
it?
called. That's what they're called. It's called a coney. It's chili cheese. Some people do mustard and onion on them. I'm a plain Jane guy, but yeah, just a good old classic cheese coney. Some of the
Love
people,
it,
I don't know
man.
if I have any Cincinnatians in here, but yeah, they know. They know.
They know what's up. All right, nice. Yeah, you go to a Patriots tailgate. I mean, hot dogs, hamburgers. I mean, we're pretty like you'll get your Sam Adams, your IPA, stuff like that. But yeah, I want to see the spread though. I want to see that Skyline chili. But let's finish up the stream, Cade, on a game where you are going to go on the closing line value Hall of Fame, and I'm hopefully going to cover my +3. And that game is a college game that I think is just an incredibly unique spot. It's a very weird situational play, and it happens to be actually betting on a team that has a ton of dysfunction right now. So if we can find this game, it is Penn State. Yes, Penn State, who their quarterback just got injured as an out for the year. Their coach just got fired. Don't cry for him. He's got $50 million not to coach Cade. I would say that is pretty much hitting the lottery here. And they're kind of a dumpster fire with a lot of issues. That sounds to me like a great team to buy low on. So I'm going to take Penn State in the points here at Iowa. And what really jumps out to me about this one is that the public cannot wait to fade Penn State. And you're going to see this a lot. You turn on ESPN, you turn on the Pat McAfee show, whatever, wherever you get and ingest all of your sports, commentary, it's going to be about how Penn State is terrible. You can't touch them. They got all these issues. Everything you hear about Penn State is bad, 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 bad. When you're a data-driven bettor and a contrarian bettor, you don't want to fall into the herd mentality of agreeing with what everyone's saying. If anything, you want to kind of fade that narrative and buy low on bad news, sell high on good news. And let's not just take that and apply it to this game, but let's look at what the market is doing. You are getting right now, Cade. Let me get the updated figure for you because I believe you're getting Penn State only with about 31% of spread bets. So again, 70% of bets are going with Iowa, but Iowa opened this game. And I want to hear about you getting that incredible number you got. But kind of the updated opener was Iowa -3.5, -3, and everyone's playing Iowa. Yet this line is juiced toward Penn State +3, -115. I see one book down to 2.5. Why is the line going to Penn State if they have all these problems, all these issues, and no one wants to play them? That smells to me like a great opportunity to buy low on Penn State. I have two recommended plays, both on Penn State. One is Penn State +1.9. The other one here is Penn State +2.9. So the 2.9 is really not an edge on the 3, but that 1.9 is pretty good. It's kind of like that Jags game where you're getting 3. Rithmm says you should only be getting around 2. Tell me your thoughts on this game and brag a little bit. You're a humble guy, Cade. Brag to me and tell me how you got the +10, I believe, on Penn State.
People will either scream my name from the mountaintop or they are going to throw rocks at me against the wall. I locked this bet in before the UCLA loss, after the Oregon loss. So this number was wildly available like throughout those course of like couple of weeks. This has been in my slip for 3 weeks. I even had, this is funny because rightfully so, I had a good old classic heckler in my Twitter mentions this past weekend who said, "Show the slip." I don't believe you. I was like, gladly, because I'm really happy someone asked this because I finally have my proof. And yeah, sure enough, it's paid off. I don't want to say this is pure luck because I had a completely different cap for that bet versus what this bet is at now. To me, I got to panic if I'm a Penn State fan, first of all. The only reason I put this bet in originally was because I'm already low on Penn State as is at the start of the year. And this was what my like kill them spot type of deal. I expected them to lose at Oregon. And all of a sudden you're looking for a must win throughout the rest of your season. And then Iowa comes into town. Iowa's been really good. I expected an upset. Now that is not the case apparently anymore. We just have a good old fashioned Big Ten game. Nonetheless, the fresh start for Penn State, it's possible that it could matter. Terry Smith is your interim guy. I've heard he's a Penn State guy through and through. And here's the thing about Penn State's defense, which is the highlight of this interim coach, because he is a defensive-minded guy, just like Jim Knowles is. They took the ball away 7 times in their 3 wins. In the 3 losses, they've only done it once. That's the difference here. Iowa's turned it over 3 times in the last 2 weeks alone, but it's going to grind this game down to a nub in the second half to get out with a tough win, honestly. I still have Iowa winning this game by just under a field goal. If I had to do it now, I don't know if I want to pick a side personally. I kind of lean towards the under because I don't really trust Penn State's offense solely yet with this new quarterback in line. Haven't seen the guy before. Seen him against Northwestern and Northwestern with Pat Fitzgerald. Have a pretty good defense. It's hard to justify. Iowa's the same way. Pretty good defense. I don't know if I'm seeing enough from him yet to even confidently say that there's points scored in this game, much less backing an Iowa offense for points. Think with your head, people. First of all, there's punts. There's going to be a lot of punts in this game. There's a reason for that. I like the under, though. I think, obviously, I have no cap for Iowa plus 10 because there should be no reason. There should be no excuse. What would be really funny is if I lose that bet still, honestly. But, I have no words. I wish I had a cap for this game now, but it's the way that the stuff is just kind of throwing a wrench in things. It's just, unreal.
Yeah, again, shout out to you because, the whole point of sports betting is to win your bets. But again, when you're able to anticipate and do what you do, like I can't do what you do, Cade. That's not my approach. Like I'm not really a look ahead guy because I'm not setting my own numbers. I'm kind of reacting to what the market is telling me and trying to decipher what I'm seeing and making sense of it and adding all these different puzzle pieces together. But to you and the way you do it, I mean, you couldn't have done it any better. You took a shot early and you've been rewarded with this incredible line. So the other angle that I'm looking at with Penn State, though, Cade, is, firing your head coach. Like there is a system in the NFL where once you fire your head coach, and I'm a Patriots fan, Vrabel is going to play Tennessee, the revenge game. Tennessee just fired their head coach. Patriots are favored by 7, which, again, they should definitely beat the Titans. But you never know once you fire your head coach how it's going to go. Like, to me, it's one of two ways. And usually in the NFL, you get a bump and it actually is a benefit. Either you hated your head coach and you remember when Josh McDaniels got fired from the Raiders a couple years ago, they won the first game and then they're IG live in the locker room smoking cigars like, F you, Josh McDaniels, you're gone. Life's good again. We won our game. Or you really liked your head coach and you didn't play well and you got the guy fired. And I was reading this Sports Illustrated article. The captain, Nick Dawkins, this was a quote that he put out here. Quote, ultimately, as players, it's an overwhelming sense of guilt. Like we got our coach fired. We didn't play well enough. And now he doesn't have a job anymore. Just a new sense of ownership and responsibility. So to me, if you're looking for the head coach boost, it's not that they hated Franklin. It's that they really liked him and they feel like we really let this guy down and he's taking all the bullets when we on the field didn't, play the way that we should have. You also look at kind of a situation of a dog low total. So you meant to play an Iowa game. It's almost like in baseball with the Chicago Cubs. Like, what's the wind doing? Is the wind blowing in or out? With Iowa, it's almost always these low scoring games because that's just the way that they operate under Ferentz. You're a good defense. You run the ball, Cade, and then you play and you get these low scoring games. And that really bodes well for kind of taking points against Iowa because a lot of times they'll win these games. And I'm annoyed I couldn't get the 3.5 with Penn State. But low total in this one, I think the total is like 39-40. That's a very low total in college.
Low.
That's good for a dog low total because it's not like Iowa is expected to blow them out and easily cover the 3. If anything, it's a tight game. You like that in favor of Penn State. So I'm going Penn State in the points here. Again, I don't have nearly as good a number as you do, Cade, but I do have a couple recommended plays, and it's kind of the ultimate gross. Everyone thinks Penn State's terrible, which they kind of have proven the last few games. But let's buy low on people saying they're terrible. And then also, you think about their expectations. Sometimes expectations can really just eat at you. They're supposed to be a national title contender. That's not going to happen. They're probably going to be in the Tostitos Bowl or something like that. What if you just have no more expectations? You can play free. You don't have a lot to lose anymore. Maybe they play with a sense of freedom and play better. So who knows? I'm just kind of think through psychologically what happens after you fire head coach. But again, I'm taking the points with Penn State here. So I'll take the 3. But finishing up, Cade, any final thoughts? Any other games? You got to go tailgate and have some fun. So any other games you want to highlight? Just any other thoughts for this weekend?
Nothing crazy. It's just I will say this college football weekend is like a mini rivalry weekend. We have like 4 or 5 different ones, and honestly, the lines are just absolutely disgusting. Every single one of them. I've wanted to play in almost every one of these, but I cannot find an angle whatsoever. It might be a lonesome Saturday night, but at least I'll be watching it on the TV. But maybe no action there. We'll see.
I'm kind of with you, man. I like the NFL slate better. And like Georgia Ole Miss, like the line moved to Ole Miss, but now they're trendy and it's going back toward Georgia. Like LSU Vandy. I like Vandy. They went from -1.5 to 2.5, but then Rithmm said I should take LSU. So I couldn't really find an USC Notre Dame. That line moved toward USC. I couldn't align and marry the market with Rithmm on a lot of these college games where we could with a lot of these NFL games. So again, maybe if you're listening to the stream, you don't care about what the market's telling you. You're just going to go off of the Rithmm Green Star plays. But the way I'm approaching it, I want the betting market to kind of be in agreement with what Rithmm is saying. So I'm with you. There's a lot of great games. Maybe you watch them as a fan, but I can't really find, both, kind of trends aligning together here with a lot of them. So it's really that Penn State game that caught my eye. But that about does it, Cade. I'll let you go tailgate, man. As always, we got to make our buddy Parker happy. Rattle off a few plays we like. I'm going Bengals plus 5.5 tonight. You guys are going to take us home with a winner. I'm going to be tracking your Twitter stream tonight. See what kind of shenanigans you get into. Chargers money line, fade the trendy dog. Panthers money line dog to fave. Jags +3, Penn State +3, and again, a lot of player props that we also mentioned. But Cade, take us home. A few plays that you're excited to sweat.
Love
this
it.
weekend.
Yeah, Bengals plus 5.5. I'm taking them out right on the money line solely for the purpose of us being here, because why are we not here if we're not going to cheer for the win? Why not? Props, though. I did put away some props just because I want to see some action. I want to see some fireworks. Even though I'm going to look for a live underplay, I did take a Chase Brown anytime touchdown. Did take a T. Higgins anytime touchdown. Jalen Warren over 17.5 reception yards. Bengals are allowing an alarming rate of reception yards to running backs lately. So this line is a little bit too short for me personally. I like Aaron Rodgers and his check downs personally. Also, I'm on a first touchdown run unlike any we have ever seen. Our Discord community is red hot. It's literally, we've hit one in the last 3 primetime games. Hit Caleb Williams Monday and Algier. And then even going back to last week, I'm blanking. I don't know. But either way, tonight I have more. I have Kenneth Gainwell in the first touchdown score. He's boosted up to 13-1. I have Drew Sample with Gesicki out. Expect the guy to get some action. 70-1. Insane value on that guy. And then Pittsburgh defense, first touch. We have yet to see a defense score a first touchdown on prime time. This might be the spot. It just might be the spot, unfortunately. But I'll take my chances for the value of 30-1 there. And then, again, going through the NFL, Panthers -1.5. I did money line the Chargers, and Iowa +10. I am again. I'm done. Every time I say it, I can't help. Yeah.
Yeah, and anyone who questions my guy Cade, you got the receipts, man. So let them question you, let them tell you you're a liar, and then just show them that bet slip and be like, hey,
Right.
How do you like them apples? That's what you got to do, Cade. But thank you all, everyone tuning in. Another great rundown here. Reminder, download the Rithmm app. Use promo code START25 for 25% off. We do have our refer a friend. So, again, if you like Rithmm and you think someone else could really benefit from these AI-backed models, you can both get 50% off and a free month. We got our Discord channel. We have our leaderboard contests. But as always, thank you for tuning in. We'll be right back at it next Thursday. Cade, go have a great time, man. Give us good luck here with the Bengals. Let's go plus 5.5.